Our soldiers arrived in Vietnam to find a land of beautiful landscapes, rolling hills and jungles inhabited by people that lived off the land as farmers. This fertile area, with an average temperature of 84 degrees, 100% humidity, and an average rainfall of 24 inches, was in some ways very similar, but also foreign to our four from Cattaraugus County. The Vietnam War was a civil war between communist North Vietnam and democratic South Vietnam. The two countries were officially divided at the 17th parallel of latitude, which was also known as the DMZ, or Demilitarized Zone. The mission our military was given was to unify Vietnam into one democratic country because of the fear of the domino theory. This theory held that if one country fell to communism, others around it would follow. The main objective of the United States was to prevent not only South Vietnam from becoming communist, but the other Southeast Asian countries, such as Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand, from becoming communist as well.
It is a kind of a pretty country, you know. They have all the Buddha temples and stuff splattered all over the hills.
Actually, my first tour was November to December, and it wasn't too bad, but it was so hot. I couldn't get over how hot and muggy it was at that time of the year, you know. And as it got closer to summer, it was even more hot and more muggy.
I'm always telling my wife or kids or grandkids, you know, on a hot day around here, it's not Vietnam.
There is a monsoon season where it rains constantly, and dry socks were a godsend. My mother would send me dry socks because your feet were always wet.
During the rainy season over there, if you wanted water, all you had to do was stamp your foot on the ground 2 or 3 times and it would come right up through the sand.
Where the villages had thatched roofs, the people had no plumbing, the electricity was negligible wherever you went. You couldn't travel over 30 miles an hour because the roads were so bad.
When I was in the field, in the area that I just described, was one step up from caveman. They had a hut with a thatched roof, lucky if they had a wall, hard clay floor, and an urn in the corner boiling something. That was it.
We did have Vietnamese working on our base in our areas and stuff like that, but they had all been supposedly vetted and checked out and all this other stuff, and couldn't talk to them very well because of the language barrier.
You know, I didn't understand their customs and they didn't understand ours, and we really didn't care as long as they did their work and stuff and we got along with them. You know, it was fine. It was a constant changing crew because, you know, if Charlie would hit us one night, usually one of your crew or two were missing the next day, so you knew, you know, that they were Viet Cong.
They were just people that just like me, that lived in their house in the daytime, and at nighttime they would just get together and go out and do their ambushes or whatever they were going to do. NVA were the military soldiers, you know, trained at one of their military camps, somewhat like I was.
France fought 9 years over there. 9 years, same as us. They kicked France out, and then North Vietnamese was probably the finest infantry in the world at the time.
To really honestly be in pitch dark, knowing that 50 feet away is somebody who wants to cut your throat, take your tongue out, shove it up your ass, is a whole different ballgame. And you cannot even put words to the fear that you have, not knowing what's going to happen within the next 30 seconds. It's just It bothers me to this day. Some of that.
As President Lyndon Johnson explained when he increased our involvement in Vietnam's Civil War, why must young Americans born into a land exultant with hope and with golden promise toil and suffer and sometimes die in such a remote and distant place? To send the flower of our youth, our finest young men, into battle? How their mothers weep and how their families sorrow. He explained that America had no choice because North Vietnam and Communist China, who sought, in his words, to conquer the South, to defeat American power, and to extend the Asiatic domination of communism, and Asia so threatened by communist domination would certainly imperil the security of the United States itself.